It is January 14th, 2026. The time is 7:15 p.m. You are sitting in your living room. Outside, the temperature has plummeted to 15 degrees below zero. The wind is howling against the glass, a sound that usually makes you feel secure, safe inside your warm, well-lit home. You have just sat down to dinner. The roast is on the table. The television is murmuring in the background about the latest climate accord in Geneva. Suddenly, silence. The hum of the refrigerator stops. The television goes black. The lights die instantly, plunging the room into a heavy, suffocating gray. Your first instinct is logical. A power line went down. The storm must have knocked out a transformer. You reach for your phone to use the flashlight, and you walk to the window to check the street. This is the moment your reality fractures. The street lights are on. The house directly across the street, the one owned by the couple that does not drive and grows their own vegetables, is blazing with light. The house next door is dark, like yours. It is a checkerboard. This is not a grid failure. This is not a storm. Your phone buzzes in your hand. It is not a text message. It is a push notification from your energy provider app, linked directly to your state-mandated digital ID wallet. The notification reads, Monthly Personal Carbon Allowance, PCA, exceeded. Tier 3 Energy Rationing active. Service suspended for 48 hours or until credits are purchased at emergency spot rates. You stare at the screen. You paid your bill. You have money in the bank. You are a responsible citizen. But in this new economy, money is secondary. You have spent your allowance. You drove your SUV too much this week. You kept the thermostat at 72 degrees instead of the recommended 66. And now, the smart meter on the side of your house, the one they installed for free 3 years ago promising efficiency, has received a remote kill switch, and there is absolutely nothing you can do to turn it back on. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is not science fiction. This is the infrastructure that has been built, wire by wire, legislation by legislation, right under your nose for the last decade. Welcome to the winter of 2026. I want you to pause and look around the room you are sitting in right now. How much of your safety depends on a steady flow of electricity? Now ask yourself, who actually controls the switch? Where are you watching from? Tell me in the comments if you have noticed your energy bills changing lately, because what I'm about to show you will explain why.
Let us go back. We need to understand how we got here to understand how to survive what is coming. Throughout history, rationing has always been the shadow of war. In 1942, you needed coupon books to buy sugar, gasoline, and tires. It was a physical limitation caused by a physical lack of supply. Ships were sinking. Rubber plantations were occupied. The scarcity was real. Fast forward to the 1970s, the oil crisis, long lines at gas stations, odd even license plate rationing. Again, it was framed as a supply shock, a geopolitical stranglehold. But look at the difference today. We are not running out of energy. We are swimming in natural gas. We have the technology to generate nuclear power safely. We have coal, we have oil. The scarcity we are facing today is not natural. It is engineered. It is an artificial scarcity created by policy. Think about the last 3 years. In California, you have flex alerts urging you not to charge your electric car when you get home from work, the exact time you need to charge it. In Texas, the grid collapsed during a freeze because reliability was sacrificed for green compliance. In Europe, we saw thermostats in public buildings legally capped at 19 degrees. Sound familiar? We are being trained. We are being conditioned to accept that energy is not a commodity you buy, but a privilege you are granted.
The bridge to this 2026 scenario was built on a lie. The lie was smart meters. Do you remember when they came to your neighborhood? They told you it was about accuracy. No more guys walking through your backyard to read the dial. They told you it would help you monitor your usage and save money. That was the bait. The hook is that a smart meter is a two-way communication device. It does not just send data to the utility company, it receives commands from them. It is a remotely operated valve on your life support system. Before smart meters, if the power company wanted to cut you off, they had to send a technician in a truck to physically disconnect your line. It was slow, it was expensive, it required a court order or months of non-payment. Now, it is a line of code. It is an algorithm. Sound familiar? Think about your bank account. If you make a transaction the bank does not like, they can freeze your funds instantly. Now apply that logic to your heating system. In 2021, during a heat wave in Colorado, 22,000 residents found they could not lower their thermostats below 78 degrees. Why? Because they had signed up for a savings program that gave the utility company control over their smart thermostats. They were locked out of their own cooling systems in their own homes. Sound familiar? That was the beta test. That was the trial run. The simulation we are about to enter assumes that this technology is no longer voluntary. It assumes that the personal carbon allowance concept currently being discussed by the World Economic Forum and academic circles in the UK and EU becomes law. They tell us it is for the planet. They tell us it is for equity. But as we move toward 2026, the mask slips. This is not about saving the polar bears. It is about a granular, inescapable control over human activity. But the receipt for this transition is wilder than you think. Let us go back to the living room. It is hour 1 of the blackout. You are furious. You grab your phone to pay the emergency spot rate to get the power back on. You open your banking app. And here is the twist. You cannot use your regular savings. The notification says, fiat currency conversion to carbon credits is currently capped at $500 per day due to high demand. Your money is no longer money. In a system of rationing, purchasing power is irrelevant if you do not have the quota. It is 8:30 p.m. The house is dropping temperature fast. Insulation only holds heat for so long when it is 15 below zero outside. You put on a sweater. You tell the kids it is an adventure, like camping. You light candles. By hour 4, the novelty has worn off. The internet router is dead, so the distractions of Netflix or YouTube are gone. The silence is heavy. You can hear the wind rattling the frames. You check the app again. The spot price for electricity has jumped 400% in the last hour. This is surge pricing applied to survival. This is the core of the 2026 simulation, the integration of the smart grid with central bank digital currencies. In the old world, if you could afford it, you could burn it.
If you wanted to heat your house to 80 degrees and leave the windows open, you were wasteful, and you paid a high bill, but you were free. In the simulation, efficiency is mandated. Day 2. Morning. You wake up, and you can see your breath. The indoor temperature is 48 degrees. The water in the pipes is at risk of freezing. You did not sleep well. The cold seeps into your bones. You go to the coffee shop down the street, the one that still has power because it is designated as essential infrastructure. It is packed. People are huddled over laptops, charging phones, trying to get warmth. The mood is tense. You overhear a conversation. A neighbor is talking about how he reported another neighbor for having heat leaks in their windows. He got a small carbon credit bonus for the report. This is the social corrosion. When resources are artificially scarce, neighbors turn into informants. The system incentivizes you to police each other. By day 3, the timeline gets darker. You finally manage to buy enough credits to turn the power back on, but only at 50% capacity. The smart meter acts as a throttle. It allows enough amperage for the refrigerator and one room of heating, but if you try to turn on the electric stove or the dryer, the breaker trips digitally. You are living in a smart home that has decided you are the problem.
Let us look at the numbers. Why is this happening? Currently, the European Union has a target to reduce emissions by 55% by 2030. That is a massive statistical cliff. You cannot achieve that drop by simply switching to LED light bulbs. It requires a fundamental reduction in consumption. According to the International Energy Agency's Net Zero Roadmap, behavioral changes are responsible for a significant chunk of emission reductions. Behavioral changes is a polite bureaucratic term for lowering your standard of living. In the UK, smart meter penetration is aiming for 100%. In the US, over 115 million smart meters were installed by 2021. That number is projected to cover nearly every household by 2026. The infrastructure is ready. Back to the simulation. Day 7. A black market has emerged. Not for drugs, but for energy credits. People with solar panels on their roofs who are off-grid capable are the new aristocracy. They have surplus energy, but the government has made it illegal to sell peer-to-peer without going through the central exchange. So trade happens in the shadows. You trade a bottle of whiskey for a charged battery bank. You trade silver coins for a few hours of generator time. You realize that the Green Revolution did not eliminate the dirty energy. It just made it exclusive. The elites, the data centers, the government buildings, they never lost power. Their carbon limits are exempted for national security or critical operations. Your smart thermostat has a camera and a microphone. You did not read the terms of service when you installed it. It detects how many people are in the room. If it sees you are wearing a t-shirt when it is 60 degrees inside, it lowers your efficiency score, which negatively impacts your next month's allowance. The house is watching you. By week 2 of the rationing, you are exhausted. You are physically drained from the cold and mentally drained from the constant calculation. Can I afford to boil the kettle?
If I take a hot shower now, will I have enough credits to keep the heat on tonight? The mental load of poverty has been transferred to the middle class. This is the ultimate goal of the technocratic control grid. It creates a state of constant, low-level anxiety. When you are cold, tired, and worried about the basics of survival, you do not protest. You do not organize. You do not fight back against political corruption. You just want the heat back on. You will comply with whatever new regulation they pass if they promise to lift the ration cap by 10%. Compliance becomes the only currency that matters. And then the bill comes. Not the financial bill, the reality check. You realize that your expensive home, your asset, is worthless without the permission of the utility provider. A home you cannot heat is just a box of freezing air. The value of real estate in energy-inefficient zones collapses. The wealth preservation you worked for, it is gone. Because wealth is freedom, and you have no freedom. This scenario ends with a thaw. The weather warms up. The restrictions are lifted. The lights stay on. But you are changed. You realize that the switch is always there, hovering over your head like a sword.
Now, let us step out of the simulation and back into 2024. Why am I telling you this? Is it to scare you? No. It is to wake you up. The energy rationing winter of 2026 is a trajectory, not a destiny. But it is the trajectory we are currently on. Every time you hear net zero, translate it to zero option. Every time you hear smart grid, translate it to surveillance grid. Every time you hear carbon wallet, translate it to ration card. The danger of denial is the greatest threat you face. The "it can't happen here" syndrome. It happened in the 70s. It happened in California. It happened in Texas. The mechanisms are being installed in your basement, on your wall, and on your phone right now. If you rely 100% on the grid, you are 100% vulnerable. True wealth preservation in this decade is not just about gold or Bitcoin or stocks. It is about energy independence. It is about having a wood stove. It is about having solar panels that are not tied to the grid. It is about having a backup generator and fuel. It is about ensuring that no algorithm can freeze your family. The winter is coming. The question is, who will hold the switch when the temperature drops? If you want the unfiltered truth about the economy, the energy sector, and how to protect your freedom, make sure you are subscribed. We do not just report the news, we simulate the future so you can survive it. Stay warm, stay free.